Julia, those two New South Wales hotspots have been declared. How is Queensland going to handle travellers wanting to get there from those hotspots?
Well, Ash, look, this comes into effect right now as of midday. Anyone coming from these two New South Wales cities, that's Campbelltown and Liverpool, they will be refused entry into Queensland. But this doesn't apply to Queensland residents who are returning to the state after visiting these two hotspots within the past 14 days. They'll be allowed into the state, but they'll be forced to fund their own 2-week hotel quarantine. Now, of course, this is a desperate attempt to make sure that none of these COVID-19 cases make their way into Queensland, given that outbreak at Crossroads Hotel in New South Wales.
Anyone who has been in those areas in the previous 14 days and comes into Queensland will need to go into mandatory hotel quarantine. This is important because we are seeing continued numbers of cases being confirmed who attended that hotel, and we've seen subsequent infections in families and other groups from people who have come into contact with people who went to that hotel.
Our Chief Health Officer confirmed that 18 Queenslanders who visited that hotel have been tested for COVID-19 and are currently in isolation at their own homes.
And Julia, we've also learned today that more than 1,000 Victorians have actually been caught falsifying their border form.
Well, Ash, since Queensland opened its borders to all interstate visitors, barring those who've been in Victoria in the past 14 days, we've seen more than 1,000 people turned away at the border, and that's because they've falsified that border declaration form. Now, this has led Queensland Police to issue tens of thousands of dollars worth of fines, including $24,000 in fines to a group of 6 people in a minivan who were denied entry into Queensland twice in the space of 24 hours. Our Deputy Premier Stephen Miles announcing this morning that we will now see tougher penalties for anyone caught breaching those public health orders, including now 6 months in prison.
Perhaps people from other states think they might get away without having to pay for it. Perhaps people think that $4,000 is worth it to come to Queensland, worth the risk. So the maximum penalty on the spot will be $4,003 or up to 6 months imprisonment. And I hope that that will demonstrate to the public just how serious we are about enforcing these measures.
Now, Sky News understands the Queensland Government will be ramping up its testing capacity in the coming days to include setting up testing spots at local showgrounds in border towns such as Goondiwindi.